Alrighty, hope everybody's having a great Saturday afternoon. Good Saturday afternoon to you. Hope you're enjoying your day. Thanks for joining us today on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, wherever you are. Ryan and I are in the office today to keep everybody updated on the severe weather potential. We're just starting what looks to be a pretty active afternoon of weather. We're looking at the potential for damaging wind, some flash flooding, potentially maybe even some hail. And an isolated tornado that can't be ruled out as well. So it looks like most of the action will be between now and about 8 p.m. or 7 p.m., somewhere in that range. A lot of these storms are just starting to fire up to our west, or at least some of the more intense storms are starting to get into western parts of our region. Looks like a bunch of you are jumping on to Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. So thanks for joining us. Let's waste no time and let's jump right into it. Ryan's back there somewhere. He's right behind me. I don't know if you can see him. He's right there, kind of working on the forecast right now, but I want to give everybody a heads up on what is happening with our weather for the next 6 hours or so. Let's take a look at the severe weather potential through this evening. The Storm Prediction Center usually issues this update a couple times a day. The new update has us in scattered severe storms, which is a pretty good chance for storms for all of southern and central Maine. Those of you across mid-coast Maine, back to the mountains, you're in an isolated chance for severe storms. Damaging wind is still the primary threat in some of these storms. What makes this one a little bit unique, I think, it's probably our best chance for an isolated tornado or little spin-ups that we've had all summer. And here we are, September, heading into the fall, and we're tracking that chance here. So the Storm Prediction Center has placed our region in a 5% chance of a spin-up tornado. What does that mean? Well, 5% chance, 25 miles out from any given point in that little area in tan right there, which is actually fairly high at first. First thought, 5% is very low, right? But if you think about it, take any point in that area in the tan and go out 25 miles in a radius in that area at any point, you have a 5% chance of getting a tornado in that region, which is fairly high for our region anyway. Maine averages 2 tornadoes annually, and usually when we get a tornado in Maine, it's in the 2 to 5% chance. So it happens. And the thing that's unique about this, if we do see any spin-ups, usually, at least over the last 10, 15 years or so, most of our tornadoes have occurred along warm fronts. This is a cold front. So that makes me wonder if we're actually going to see anything fire. But we'll see what happens. There's been a history of rotating supercells off to our southwest, and we'll touch on that in just a minute here. But there have been a bunch of tornado warnings down in New York and back into Massachusetts. And that's the line that's heading to our region right now. So let's take a look at where we are. Looks like a bunch of you are popping on here. All right, 434 folks now on this live stream. Thanks for joining us. Let's take a look at where we're seeing the storms. The main line is getting organized in the mountains and off to our southwest. The real action with this one has been down in New York and Massachusetts. This is one nasty line here in Massachusetts right now. If you follow the trajectory, a lot of these are moving, they're moving west to east, but they're kind of working on a northeastern trajectory. And the atmosphere is set up in a way in our region that we are primed for some severe weather in our region, especially areas that have some sun. Now, the garbage out ahead of it, there's a little bit of shower activity out ahead of it, which makes me wonder if this right here may stabilize our atmosphere just a little bit. If we can get some of these storms to fire out ahead of this, usually that will take a lot of the energy out of our main line. So in a perfect world, that will be the case. And then the main line comes through with some downpours and thunder and lightning. But areas that have some sun, the atmosphere is still very, very unstable. We have the potential for some severe weather in that region there. So that's pretty much all of southern and central Maine. All right, let's take a look at where these storms are right now. We're seeing a lot of that action. Here we are right here. Just some lightning. These are not severe at all. Down to York County, Biddeford, Saco, Wells, Agunquit, all the way down to York. This extends up to almost Cold Orchard Beach, Cape Elizabeth. We have the main line that's getting organized back through the mountains now. So if you're watching us back through Freiburg, Conway, actually down towards Brownfield, a little lightning there. The Route 2 corridor up towards Bethel. There's a fair amount of downpours in that region. We can take a look at the actually, let's not look at that right now. We'll look at that in just a few minutes. But I want to outline the timing of the severe weather threat pretty quickly. Again, the main line, look at all this lightning down in Massachusetts. A couple severe storms Severe warnings are currently in effect, and they're about ready to get into New Hampshire. The warnings in New Hampshire will start firing very soon. We're under a severe thunderstorm watch right now. We're not under a tornado watch, which is good news, but we're under a severe thunderstorm watch. As far as rotating supercells, there have been a bunch of these down in Massachusetts and also into New York. This one is still rotating. This is a graphic I typically don't share on a regular broadcast here. But what happens is we're looking at this is the Albany radar, I believe. Yeah. So the wind is moving this way towards the radar in green, moving away the radar in red. So you've seen some rotation in this cell up near Amherst, Massachusetts. Why is that a big deal? Well, again, this line slowly migrates its way off to the east. There's a chance for some of these to become rotating supercells in our region here. All right, let's get a little bit closer on some of the physics and what's happening with some of these cells moving into New Hampshire. One right over Lake Winnipesaukee right now. This one, it looks to be just a general thunderstorm. This one right here, general thunderstorm as well. This one right here is producing the potential for some hail mixed in down to southern parts of New Hampshire. This one was rotating. Let's see, no, this one's not rotating anymore, according to this parameter. So we'll watch that. But yeah, these are just starting to get into our region this afternoon. All right, now to the timing here. Let's go through this. It's a weather-worn day. It's our way of saying, heads up, we have the chance for some severe weather this afternoon. We need some rainfall, and we're going to get it, folks. Here's the timing of it. Here we are at about 3 o'clock, and that's where we are right now. This seems to be lining up quite nicely. This is about 4:30 or so. These storms are about an hour and 15 minutes from now. We're getting these storms into Lewis and Auburn, Sebago Lake region, going up into the Augusta area. So the main event in Southern and Central Maine is probably going to be getting going around 4 or 5 o'clock or so. So we're about an hour or two out from the main event here. Moving into Southern and Central Maine, we'll have to watch these as they approach the coast. With a southerly wind, I think a lot of these will probably start to weaken a little bit as they get into coastal zones. So that bears watching as well. But it looks like most of the action as far as the strongest storms will probably be just inland. That's my guess. Storm Prediction Center has that risk all the way down to the coastline, though. So we'll be monitoring that through about, my guess, about 8 o'clock or so. After that, I think the severe threat will have diminished considerably. So once we get to about 8 o'clock, I think we're probably in pretty good shape. So here's that severe threat again. Here's what we're looking at. Boom, just like that. Yeah. So the severe threat, it goes all the way down to coastal Maine, the exception mid-coast and down East Maine, where the air mass is a little more stable in that region there. All right, let's take a look at the radar and where we are right now. We're seeing just some showers and thunderstorms, nothing major in our region just yet, but the main line is this one off to our west. And if you follow the trajectory, let's widen this out just a little bit. Follow the trajectory of a lot of this action. It's coming up into our area over the next few hours. So that's what we're thinking there. Ryan's behind me here. He'll have more updates this afternoon, and I'll be in with probably another update at some point. Best time for folks are checking in. Let's see. Gerard, best time for Limerick severe storm. 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, somewhere in there. Oh, you're getting some heavy rain and wind right now, Lorraine says. Yeah, that makes me wonder if we're actually going to get the severe weather, if you're already getting the garbage out ahead of it. I mean, these are storms that help stabilize the atmosphere. So in Buxton right now, you're getting some downpours. Look at that. Some wind and some heavy rain. So you are right there. It looks like, Lorraine. Thanks for checking in. Jessica's pigs will truly fly. Let's hope not. No, we'll get through this. This will be fine. We can handle this. But yeah, it's a pretty good chance for severe weather over the next few hours. And we need the rain, folks, right? I mean, this will be in and out. Tomorrow, we actually have the chance for a little more rain. Ryan's working in that part of the forecast right now. I think there will be some wet weather on Sunday, particularly during the morning. Turner, Bridget says, yeah, Turner, you're probably, I'm going to bring up a different model here for a second here. Hang tight. Let me see if I can find this. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, here we go. So yeah, all right. So here you are, Turner, 5:30. That's just one for this is run off of the high resolution rapid refresh model. Just in case you're wondering, that's the line expected around 5:30. there. So 5:30 probably. Do I think the Sea Dogs game will go on? I just saw that. Matt says, do I think the Sea Dogs game will go on scheduled at 6? I'd say no. That's my guess right now. But hopefully this line moves through and we'll get in better shape. My guess is I don't know. I don't think it's going to go on. I don't know. You go to the ballpark. Maybe they'll start a little bit early. We'll see. And, grab a Sea Dogs biscuit. That'll be my recommendation. Grab a Sea Dogs biscuit right away. And if they call the game, they call the game. But yeah, it doesn't look great. How's that sound? Doesn't look great for the Sea Dogs game. Rockland getting anything right now? No, I think you'll get showers and storms. The severe threat is considerably lower for your area. Jody, hope that helps. So you can kind of see you're still in the chance for thunderstorms and you're still in the chance for severe storms, but the severe weather potential in the Rockland area is a little bit less than elsewhere in southern and central Maine. All right. Phyllis says she hears thunder in Harrison. Thanks for the update. I appreciate that. Lincoln. All right. Farther north up in Lincoln. Yes, you're just north of Bangor or Lincoln, New Hampshire. Probably north of Bangor, Amanda. Yeah, you're in the chance for isolated severe storms. What time in Sanford? So a lot of folks, there's a lot of questions. I apologize, folks. I can't get to all of them right here, but what time in Sanford? We can answer some of those questions. Oh, there's a lot of folks checking in this afternoon. I appreciate that. The timing in Sanford, again, damaging wind is the primary threat. Flash flooding, hail, and rotating supercells, isolated tornadoes certainly possible in this sort of setup. So, what are we talking about here? This one is in Sanford. My friends in Sanford, 5 o'clock, 4 or 5 o'clock, somewhere in there. As it makes its way down towards the coastline around 6 o'clock or so. So this is one forecast model. This one's a little bit too quick, I think. Let's see. Let's look at this one. No, that seems to be about right. So Sanford, 4 or 5 o'clock. That's my guess as it gets into your area. And again, this is just an estimate. What time in Westbrook? Yeah, probably around 5, 6 o'clock or so in your area. Westbrook, Jeffrey. Hope that helps. Well, good question, Cameron. We need some rain, right, bud? Yeah, we'll get rain today. And there's a chance we could get over an inch of rain. Flash flooding is actually a potential. With the dry ground, the ground can't absorb water when it's dry like this. So sometimes you get excessive runoff in that sort of setup. So that's a real possibility. So that's the reason we can sometimes get some flooding in drought situations. You'd think the opposite, right? But when the ground is dry, you really can't get the ground to absorb the water as efficiently here. All right, looks like we have a brand new severe thunderstorm warning, folks. This one coming in. I just got the update on over here. This is brand new. There we go. All right, let's take a look at this one. All right, this one's moving in. So the action is just getting going here in York County, and this is making its way up into Cumberland County. Let's take a look at the current warning here. And this one has been issued. Oh, they threw the tornado tag on it. Look at that. All right, so we need to keep an eye on this one. This one has been issued for the potential for, looks like 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts and quarter-size hail. And the Weather Service has put the tornado tag on it, meaning a tornado is possible. There are no tornado warnings in effect right now. Sorry, Cameron, I still have your question up here. Maybe I can pop that off so we can see the graphic a little bit better. Apologize, folks, if I can't get to everybody's question here. But this one has been issued for hail and damaging wind. And as we get a little bit closer on this one, let's take a look at the possible rotation in this one. It doesn't look too impressive. But the Weather Service is saying, yes, it is possibly rotating. And let's throw the warning on here. We should have the warning. There it is. Oh, I was in the wrong spot. Sorry. Yeah, so that one is rotating. See the greens right there? Those brighter greens. We're seeing is a little bit of rotation. Looks like right over Ossipee, and it's heading over towards Parsonsfield. So this is the one we'll be watching over the next couple hours or so, next half hour or so. So that severe thunderstorm warning, I'm going to save this right here. And I'm going to go back over here, and we're going to look at the attributes on it. Actually, let's look at this. Let's see what the storm tracks have to say. Oh, the storm tracks say there's some hail possible in this one. Yes. So the Weather Service has issued this one for hail as it moves right up into northern York County. And we can look at the potential for hail. There we go. There's your hail tracks. So this one looks most impressive in the cell coming out of Ossipee right now. I don't know about you guys. I'm tired today. I didn't sleep well last night, but need to have a cup of coffee. Keep things going today. All right. So this one has the potential. Oh yeah, some 3/10 of an inch diameter hail is possible. This is moving through Carroll County here, and eventually north up towards Parsonsfield in western York County. So that has been issued for a severe thunderstorm warning currently in New Hampshire, moving through York County and Oxford County. It's this one right here. And western Cumberland County included in this as well. So let's take a look at that warning one more time. Yeah, that one bears watching. Let's keep an eye on this one. At 4, this remains in effect till 4 o'clock. So we have another 40 minutes or so. Carroll County, Cumberland County, Oxford County, and York County. And anytime you see like little appendages like that bears watching. So that one's coming right up towards Parsonsfield. And there's probably some decent wind and the potential for a little bit of hail. And you see those bright greens right there? This one probably is rotating just a little bit. Just a little bit. Not much, though. Nothing to get afraid about right now. And yeah, there's not much happening here. Let's see what's happening down in Mass. Oh, this one's still looking pretty good in western parts of Mass. Let's look at this coming out of Mass. Oh, that looks ugly coming out of Mass. Holy smokes. Big problems down there. That looks like a hailer to me with a lot of wind. So that does not look good there. All right. So we're going to keep an eye on this one right here. This is the one. This is the only warning we have in effect right now in our region. Let me check one thing here. $3:30. All right. If you're just joining us, let's go through the timing of this one more time. Thanks for joining us today on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. There's not much going on right now for me because Ryan's working on the forecast, so I can hang out in the digital desk here for a little bit. All right, so here we are. Let's go through time here. This is now. So here we are at about 3:30. Let's take it about 5:30. Lewis and Auburn, now Wyndham getting in on the mix, Sanford, Augusta. I wonder what we have for a Skycam. Let's take a look at a Skycam in a minute. That'll be the next thing we'll do. This one's closer to 7 p.m. and I suspect by 8 p.m. we're pretty much in the clear at that point. So that's a general timeline of what to expect. So if you're just joining us on the Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, this is the threat we're keeping an eye on. Damaging wind is the primary threat here. There is a tornado threat. It's fairly low, but there is a chance for spin-outs. We've seen a couple tornado warnings off to our west, and the main line is just getting organized. So it's just getting into our region. So it's this action you see right in here that we want to keep a very close eye on in the coming 2 hours. So there we go. That's the one we'll be monitoring very closely. So the main event is still coming in over the next few hours. All right, let's take a look at a few webcams. You know what I really like? If you haven't checked these out yet, you can check out the Life Flight of Maine webcams. Have you seen these yet? Life Flight of Maine has put up webcams at all local airports, which has been great for weather purposes and for the Life Flight of Maine. There's a storm right there in Freiburg looking off to the west. And I loaded these into my computer. This one at the airport in Bethel. Let's go down to Sanford. Yeah, it looks dark to the west there. We are at the Jetport. There's the air show going on right now down in Portsmouth. I was hoping to go to the air show today. Hopefully they'll get some in tomorrow. I'm not sure where that stands, but there's Berlin. It's raining there. Rangeley, it's raining there. So just about what you'd expect on a Skycam. That's what you'd expect to see is Brunswick. There's the fog. Look at that. That's one of the reasons these storms are going to fall apart as they get down toward Penobscot Bay. The fog has never really lifted in that region, which was expected. But if you need a little bit of sun to fuel some of these storms, and here we are, September. We're looking at a decent severe risk, and it's September. I mean, where was all this in July and August? When it was supposed to. So Rockland 66, and everyone else is in the 70s to around 80 degrees. All right, let's take a look at the current radar. See if we have any more updates. The ocean water temperature 62. That sounds nice. Thanks for joining us on the digital desk here. I mean, the digital desk is, we can talk about anything here for a while. We don't have to, we're not under any time constraints. So there'll be a lot of pauses as we look at some updates and things like that. This is the only warning we have in effect right now. Northern York County, Western Cumberland County, up to about Sebago, now just west of you in Bridgeton. This includes Leamington. And this includes Hiram. There's Hiram, right up Route 113. There's not a ton of lightning with this one. And the Weather Service has issued this one for damaging wind and hail. And they have put the tornado possible tag on it, meaning they're monitoring it for rotating as a rotating supercell. We'll keep an eye on that. Yeah. All right. Let's go see if there's any updates here. Yeah, it's still looking like some hail is possible. Here's the current hail setup. Doesn't look too impressive on that one. Here's the future hail setup. Yep. Still has that hail possibly up near Hiram and Parsons Field. So a little blue swath right there. If you do get some hail, let me know. Send me an email or post it in comments here. Wow, there's so many comments. I apologize, folks, for not being able to get to all the comments. Patty says it's windy. Thank you, Patty. In Biddeford. Oh, you lost the internet already in Madison. All right, let's look at the radar up in Madison. All right, let's figure out where we are here. Let's go up into Somerset County to our friends up in Madison. There's Skowhegan. There's not a lot of storms up there right now. That's odd. There's not a lot of lightning associated with these just yet either. Well, I hope you got your internet back, Kate. Thank you for the update. All right. Let's see here. See if we have any more updates. All right. Any chance of severe weather? Absolutely. Yeah, there's a chance for severe weather in Lewiston. Isaac, thanks for joining us. Let's take a look at the time frame. Here we are at about 5-6 o'clock. So about an hour and a half from now, there certainly is a chance in Lewiston. So we'll keep an eye on that. This is a future radar. So thanks for the update, Isaac. Watching from Hey, Lori, thank you very much for watching from Jackman. All right, my friends up in Jackman. Nice spot up there. Biddeford here, and it's raining. Okay, thank you very much, Patty. Appreciate it. We're not getting any severe weather right now in Biddeford. Yeah, the main line is still yet to arrive in your neck of the woods. Let's get in a little bit closer on Biddeford. There's the rain. There's Biddeford right there. All right. There's Old Orchard Beach. And there's Saco and Biddeford. Yeah, a little bit of rain right there. Not a great beach day. Not a great beach afternoon. All right. The main line is still, if you're just joining us, this is the line we're watching. So there's one warning right here. This little guy right here in Western York County, but all the action is still to the west. And this will be coming up over the next couple hours. The nice thing, I think the good news is, if there is any good news in this sort of setup, we are seeing a lot of kind of what I like to call them garbage storms out ahead of it. Like who was saying this? Patty was saying it's raining in Biddeford. So that's probably good news for Biddeford, simply because a lot of these little storms out ahead of it, sometimes if you don't hold on to the sun, you're going to lose the energy for the main line that comes through. And we saw this happen about a month ago with a line of storms that came through on a Saturday. The first line took all the energy out of the atmosphere. So when the main line came through, it just didn't have much to work with. So in a perfect world, some of these little garbage cells, you see these right here, moving this one right here, just north of Lewiston, this one right here in Casco, Raymond. When do we have our Skycam loaded up here? We can see a Skycam. Lewiston set up. No, that's Raymond. Okay, so that's our Raymond Skycam. That says Lewiston, but that is Raymond currently. But sometimes you get those little cells out ahead of the main line, and that can take the energy out of the atmosphere. So that's encouraging to see. I think it's encouraging because that would knock some of the storms back. But these still look pretty rugged to the west. These are saying, Charlie, no thanks. I mean, I don't care if it's cloudy with showers out ahead of this. There have been a lot of rotating supercells. Let's take a look and see if any of those are rotating right now. In Massachusetts, man. Oh yeah, this one's still rotating right here. See those reds and yellows right there? It's what we call large scale rotation. What we're looking, we need this to tighten up for it to be become a tornado warning, but that's not the case right now. Let's go. Yeah, you can see it on the Albany radar. So we can switch to the Albany radar. See a little area green? See Hardwick right there? See, we're going from the Norton radar, Massachusetts radar, to the Albany radar. So the colors will change because in green's the wind moving toward the radar, and the red is the wind moving away from the radar. So now we're looking at the Norton radar. You see that. The one up in gray here, the gray radar, doesn't look too impressive for rotating supercells. This one was the one to watch. The Weather Service had issued this little this warning on. See that one right there? And it does not look impressive right now for rotating supercells. It's this area they were watching. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. Although there is a little bit of red. All right. That's something to keep an eye on right there near South Parsons Field. So that one is showcasing some rotation. So that bears watching right there. So that's the area that we should probably start to monitor right there. Right there. Okay. Look at the radar. Huh. All right. I think the radar needs to update for a second here. These scans can sometimes be 2 minutes old. So this will update in a sec. If you have an update, I'd love to see it. Let's check some of the comments. See if we have. A lot of people are asking when the storms are arriving in their area. So maybe we can run through that one more time, and then we'll go back to the radar. So here we are now, 3:30. That's lining up quite nicely what we have in the radar. This is 5:30. So 2 hours from now. And that's 7 o'clock. I suspect by 8, the severe weather threat will have diminished. I mean, the sun's going down at 7 o'clock now. We're getting into pre-7 p.m. sunsets starting this week. So that's crazy. You know, a lot of times when we're tracking severe weather, I'm like, okay, you know, the sun's out until 8 o'clock. We still have plenty of energy in the atmosphere, but that's not the case. It's September. I have to remember that it's September. And one thing I don't want to do is I don't want to break into programming right now because football is on. You know who gets upset when you break into programming for severe weather? People watching football and golf. So the hope is we can just hang here on the digital set for a little bit, and we don't have to interrupt football. You want to find an easy way for people to start hating you? you interrupt your football game. I would never do it to a Patriots game unless it was like dire. But yeah. All right. So the physics on this one, the storm attributes still indicating a little bit of hail in this one right over Parsons Field. See that right there? That's the one that has been warned for hail and the potential for damaging wind. And they put the tornado tag on it as a possible tornado. So that's something we're watching. As far as let's see, National Weather Service, local storm reports. There's one local storm report. And it's this one back in New Hampshire, right over Plymouth, New Hampshire. Huh. Off-duty firefighter reported a tree down and wires down. Estimated time. All right. Thanks to that off-duty firefighter. All right. Oh, my alma mater. I went to Plymouth State. Right near Plymouth State there in New Hampshire. Nice spot and nestled in the White Mountains, the Southern Whites. All right. Let's go back to the radar. No real updates. This one looks interesting up here. Huh. Freiburg. That one looks ugly. Let's see if there's any wind in that one. Yeah, there's wind. This one's rotating. Huh. I prepare for a warning on this one very soon. That one is rotating right there. Looks like it will about ready to cross Route 113 near Stowe and Chatham. There's Chatham right there. See those greens and reds where they meet? Those brighter greens, that's a stronger wind. So what we're seeing is the wind is rotating this way. And the winds in red are kind of going out this way. Doesn't look super impressive right now, but let's see if we get a warning on that. That looks ugly. We might get a warning on it. So we're just getting into the action right now. All right, folks. There's got to be some hail on that one too. Huh. Let's look at the hail tracker. Well, it's still saying the potential for hail is with that southern cell, but the DBZs are really, really high, which is basically the reflectivity off of the radar in this cell up near Freiburg. So what we can do is we can you can ID that, say, okay, so the radar's throwing some 3-inch, 4-inch rainfall totals per hour, and this is probably going to be a crazy high right here. Yeah, 1 inch. Okay, 1 inch. And this one right here, 4 or 5 inches. All right, so 5 inches. Usually, when you see numbers like that, that means that the radar is not seeing a raindrop. So if you picture the radar is just looking at raindrops, and it's reflecting off of raindrops. Now, the reflectivity is going to be higher off of ice. And we see that in sleet in the wintertime. We also see it in the summertime and in the early fall, like now, when we have hail. And there's a very good chance that that is hail. That's the reason I bring that up. So if you're just joining us, this is the only warning we have in effect in our area. It is a severe thunderstorm warning, not a tornado warning or anything. But the tornado tag has been placed on it, meaning tornado possible. So no tornado, you don't have to go to the basement, none of that. But something we're watching. And I don't think, I mean, the rotation looks doesn't look great at all. So I don't think we're going to get anything. This is the area they're watching. It doesn't look too impressive right now. That's the area for rotation. And farther off to the north here, this is the area for rotation that probably needs to be watched up towards Lovell. It's pretty large scale rotation at this point. So we'll keep an eye on that. And Denmark, it's a little wind in that one there. Moving through Denmark, approaching Bridgeton. Keep an eye on that. Let's go check the radar down to our south. Let's go down to Massachusetts. Yeah, that one looks like just straight line wind there. Yeah, maybe a little rotation still on that one. When I scan between the Albany and the Taunton radar. All righty, folks. Let's just run through this again. Folks that are just joining us, you're probably saying, Charlie, why are you on the air? Why are you on a Saturday? My friend Ryan here, Ryan Munn's right behind me. Right there, he's working on the forecast. We have a newscast coming up at 6. and the atmosphere is primed for severe weather. So it seems appropriate that we should have one of us doing digital stuff and one of us doing TV stuff. So here we are with a thunderstorm threat. Damaging wind is the primary threat. And we've seen a bunch of tornado warnings off to our southwest. And the Storm Prediction Center has placed our region in a risk for tornadoes. They have us in a 5% risk, 25 miles out from any given point. If we get a tornado in Maine, usually it's in this type of risk. At first glance, you say, okay, 5% is very, very low. But again, that's 25 miles out from any point in that area in TAN. Take a radius, at 25 miles off any point. So 5% is very high for our region. We're not like Oklahoma. We're not in Kansas or anything. And, luckily our tornadoes are very, very weak. But we average 2 per year. So it's not unheard of. And we might get one today. We'll see. But straight line winds are certainly a real possibility as well. In fact, that is the primary threat in some of these cells. So the thing to watch over the next couple of hours will be this line. As the line kind of works its way off to the northeast, you'll start looking for these little hooks that kind of come off the south end. We had that in that. This kind of reminds me of that line that came through. It was in 2010. It was July 21st, 2010. It's not the same, but the line was coming across, but you had these little hooks coming across, and just on the south side of the line, you started to get they look like little fish hooks, and that's when you start getting okay. These are rotating supercells, so that's something that we'll be watching. Let's look at some. Oh, Conway's in on that. It's fun to look at some of the sky cams. This one from the Weather Service in gray. All right. This one's at the Jetport. Some raindrops there at the Jetport. Oh, that one in Sanford's looking pretty good, huh? It's one of the Life Flight of Maine cams. Demriscotta right over the bookstore there. They'll be getting ready for Pumpkin Fest next month. That'll be fun. Sugarloaf. There are Sunday River. There are some years that my friends at Sunday River send me an email randomly on a morning in September, and it's cold enough, and they're making snow, and they say, we're testing the snow guns. It's a great promotional tool for them. But it always surprises me. It's like, here we are, September, we're making snow, getting ready for ski season. Obviously too warm today, obviously too warm next week as well, but next week will get cooler. All right, so here's the timing of this. This is 4:30 or so. This will be about 5 o'clock, and I suspect by about 8 o'clock, we'll start to see this line working its way offshore. So we have 4 o'clock. Yeah, we have 3-4 hours until potential for severe weather. So this one does not look super impressive right now. This one still looks pretty good right here. A lot of rain, and my guess some hail is mixed in. And this one up into Bridgeton right now. This one up near Stowe and Chatham has piqued my attention recently. I'll tell you why. See those greens right there? This is a graphic I never show on air because it's tough to explain. But those brighter greens, that's wind moving toward the radar. There's one in Bridgeton too. See that? Wind's moving toward the radar, and it's probably getting some strong winds there. Get those arrows off. Yeah. So nothing that looks crazy severe right now. I mean, this is a severe. Don't get me wrong. This is a severe warning, but it's not. It doesn't look like the line that blew the roof off of a house a month ago. Remember that one? That was ugly. But this line has that potential. Absolutely. So here's the new warning. All right. So the good news is the Weather Service took the tornado tag off of it. I never get Starbucks coffee. I always bring my coffee from home. But I went out to lunch with my wife today, and I didn't have any coffee. So I'm having a Starbucks coffee for probably the first time this year. They make good coffee. It tastes good. But yeah, I went to a volleyball game this morning over in Falmouth High School. That was fun. My daughter was playing over there. And went out for some pizza with my wife. We had a great time. Lights flickering in Bridgeton. Oh, okay. All right. So we have a report of flickering lights, Tina. Thank you very much for checking in there. Let's look at Bridgeton. This is the cell in Bridgeton right there. Yeah, you probably have some strong winds. You might lose power, huh? Look at that. If your lights are flickering, let's look at the wind. Yeah, you got some strong. You have strong winds there in Bridgeton. There's no question about that. Those bright greens are indicating some strong winds moving towards the radar there in gray. The good news is you are not under a severe thunderstorm warning. Thought they might issue a warning on this cell, but no warnings yet. We'll keep an eye on this one. I'm looking at some of outpouring in Hiram. Oh, looks like we just got a new update, new warning. Let me pop that off here. Where's that new warning? Oh, it's this one right here. That doesn't look good. It looks like it's on the south side of Lake Winnipesaukee over towards Alton Bay, if you know where that is, right there. Nice spot right there. But this one, let's see if that one's rotating. Yeah, a little bit, not much though. Let's look at the latest warning on it from the Weather Service. So you can kind of get the idea of what's happening. You see these little warnings off to our south? The storms are training just like this. See that? So, I mean, we're just getting into it. So we have a couple hours until we're out of it. We have until about 8 o'clock or so. I think we should probably look at this warning. This one has been issued until 4:15 for the potential for damaging wind and hail. Let's look at the hail potential. You know what we haven't done yet? We haven't really sliced these storms in half. Let's do that. Oh, yeah, that's a big one. All right, so this cell right over Lake Winnipesaukee, let's get a little bit closer on this one. This one right here, so what we did is we slice a storm in half, and this one's going right up to about 30,000 feet in elevation. That is a very tall thunderstorm, and that's a storm that's very mature, and that one is probably bringing, at the very least, a lot of wind and some heavy rain, and more likely some hail mixed in. So let's try to, let's get closer to our region. I want to take a look at some of these cells and slice these in half. So the current warning, looks like the radar just updated. Oh, all right. I just messed that up. Hold on a sec. Let's go back. Let's do this. And let's cut it in half. There we go. That's better. Sometimes when you do it live on the air, it gets... All right, so this one's interesting. So this one's leaning out ahead of the storms. That's a very strong storm, no question about that. And that one is rising up to about 30,000 feet in elevation. So it likely has some strong winds, heavy rain, and the potential for some hail. Look at that. That is a good mature cell right there. Let's go back. Let's do this right again. And we can slice the one further north, the one that's over Bridgeton, Freiburg area. Let's take a look at that one. That one doesn't look as impressive there in Freiburg. This one in Bridgeton looks pretty good though. So we got a new warning here. Yep, there it is. Yeah, that's the one we've been waiting for. All right, so let's go back to this. So brand new severe thunderstorm warning has been issued for this cell. Now from Bridgeton, so Lewiston, you are in on the mix on this cell. So let's take a look at the current warning in this one. So severe thunderstorm warning has been issued for Androscoggin, Cumberland, Oxford County. The hazards are 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts and quarter-size hail. So good news is this one does not have the tornado tag, but this one likely has strong winds, and it's coming out of Bridgeton right now. So I I just got that report from Bridgeton of the lights flickering. That's the answer to that one. That's the reason you have a strong supercell right over you. This one's still rotating right over. Look at this one. This is still worth watching too. That one is still rotating, approaching Leamington. On this one right now, that's not. There's the one in Alton. That one doesn't look too impressive. All right, so let's go back to the reflectivity. That is the velocity radar. So the reason I keep coming back to this one is anytime you start seeing these little appendages, see this one right here? What's happening is you probably get this weak rotation. It's not too impressive right now, but as it approaches Leamington, that's something that we'll need to monitor. The atmosphere is set up in a way that right at the ground level, the winds are out of the south, and you go a few thousand feet up, the winds are out of the southwest. So it doesn't take much to produce these little spin ups. And those are typically our typical tornado warnings when we get them around here, but there are no tornado warnings currently in effect. All right, there's that one. All right, I know I wanted to look at the hail potential. There's nothing too impressive right now, but this is the future hail over the next half hour, next 30 minutes. That cell. All right, so there's two cells we're watching. The one that's coming out of Bridgeton right now and moving up toward, looks like it's moving north of Lewiston. Yeah, so we can look at the potential for hail. Well, half-inch diameter hail, 4/10 of an inch diameter hail. That's a respectable hailstone if that happens. So if you get hail, I'd love to see it. Send me a picture. Single. Oh, that's not what I want to do. Let's go to the multi. So these are, so 6/10 of an inch, over half-inch diameter hail. So that's the one we're watching going up towards Sebago, now Cornish, crossing Route 25. This is the projected hail tracker over the next half hour. And let's see if the attributes kind of, I can hear Ryan doing the radio broadcast. He's right on the other side of the wall. Oh, it's so much better when you have two meteorologists in the office. So that one, New Hampshire, is the only one that they're saying, okay, this one has hail in it. The very least, we have beneficial rain, but we don't want any flood warnings, right? Nobody wants flood warnings. All right, let's just stop here for a minute. Let's see if anyone sent me any emails with pictures. Thanks for joining us. If you're just joining us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. All right, nothing yet. Nothing yet. Nothing from the Weather Service either, which is good. Checking folks from the Weather Service. Sometimes they'll send us an update. Looks like there's a new mesoscale discussion. Okay, that's expected. All right, nothing we don't know. All right, I guess we'll just hang out here and keep going with this, right? So the two warnings that we have in effect are this one for Androscoggin County, Northern Cumberland County. We'll highlight that one right here, running from Bridgeton, Naples, right up into western Androscoggin County. There's Casco involved in that. There's Oxford and the Oxford Hills, Paris, Norway. I don't know if Norway's in it. At least Paris is right there. It's close. Yeah, there's Norway just outside of the warning. Poland. That one looks to be a pretty good cell with at the very least a lot of rain. Let's hope we don't have any flood warnings. Let's click on the flood advisories just in case we get any flood advisories. Let's widen this out. Yeah, no flood advisories yet. All right, the thing I'm always interested in, we get these every now and then, is I'm always watching these little guys. See these little guys right there? Yellow. Those guys, those little appendages, those are the ones to watch over the next 2 hours. especially as these cells in New Hampshire get into southern Maine. So York County, you're next. We're going to get it in York County. I can guarantee you that. Um, see, this one looks ugly too, down in New Hampshire. That's in a tough spot because the radar has a tough time seeing it. Yeah. See what I mean? See all those those bright greens right there? That indicates some pretty strong wind right there. New severe thunderstorm warning. All right, we have a brand new warning. Let's see what's happening here. No. Oh, yeah, it's this one. All right, if you know anybody on Sebago Lake, give them a call. Say, get off the lake. Because this is the brand new warning from the Weather Service for the cell right there. That's the brand new one. And now Windham is involved. Standish is involved. Raymond is involved in this one. The west side of the lake. Severe thunderstorm warning has been issued for, as I read, the 60-mile-per-hour gusts and half dollar size hail. All right, folks. These are, you don't get that too often. So let's look at the hail potential again in that cell. Half dollar size hail. Holy smokes. We don't want that. I'm going to look something up. Hang tight for one sec. See if I can get this graphic in here. Hail. Yeah, this is what I want to show you folks. Hang tight. We're going to check this out together. This will be fun. All right. So you wonder what half dollar size hail is. I knew I had this graphic. Here it is. All right. So we're looking at, so we've had quarter size hail issued, at least issued for quarter size hail. There is the potential for possibly ping pong size hail. There's nickel hail, 0.7 of an inch. So this is forecast for, let's go back to this for a sec. So let's just look at the hail size. These little green blue swaths, that's where we're seeing the chance for some hail. So now this one on the west side of the lake, 0.4 of an inch diameter hail. This one, 0.4 of an inch diameter hail. This is the one that had the warning, though. It doesn't look as impressive. Huh. All right, so we're seeing some things that contradict each other, but 0.3 of an inch, there's still hail, but I wonder if we get half dollar size hail. That's a possibility. It looks more like 2 to 0.3 of an inch diameter hail. So the Weather Service has issued this warning for, let's go back to that graphic. We can look at both warnings. Oh, no, I did have that right. The one over Sebago Lake. That's the one that had the bigger hail. This is the one. The one over the lake here. So this one has been issued for, let's take a look at it. Radar indicated, yeah. So hail, 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts and half dollar size hail. So this is probably the most intense one that we have. I think the Weather Service, what they did is they re-upped this one that's farther to the west that will expire in 1 minute. This is the one through Carroll County, Cumberland County. So this one remains in effect for until 4:45. So we have 45 minutes, 46 minutes on this one. And we have this one that remains in effect until 4:30. And this one's for Androscoggin, Cumberland, Oxford County. This is the one that Lewiston is involved in it, Poland. The very least, some very heavy rain is involved in this one. And let's look at the velocity on some of these. Nothing that looks overly. I wonder if that's a little contamination in Leamington. You get Sawyer Mountain up that way. Once you get to Baldwin, No, I was gonna think Burnt Meadow Mountain's a little bit further west. Sometimes you can get some contamination on the radar, but that bears watching then. Um, all right, there's nothing too impressive up there. There's nothing super impressive off to the south here. Nothing I'm seeing anyway. Let's see what's happening down in Massachusetts. Yeah, that doesn't look super impressive either. But it likely has at least some extreme rain. Look at that. Look at that rain and hail down in Massachusetts. I bet there's a lot of reports of damage down here. Single, let's look at this one. I got a report there of 1-inch diameter hail in that one. Looks like right along the New Hampshire border. Yeah, nothing crazy out there. Let's see what this wind gust was in Western Mass. Hmm. 64. That's a big wind gust. All right. Let's go back to the radar. Here we go. So the good news is there's nothing pressing as far as there's nothing that looks extreme, but there are some warnings. A couple severe thunderstorm warnings for Androscoggin, Cumberland County, one in Western York County right here. And again, the good news is we've had these little garbage cells out ahead of it. So hopefully that will help stabilize the atmosphere just a little bit. But that would be good if we can get that. The reason we're keeping an eye on these, the Storm Prediction Center has placed our region in a pretty good risk for scattered severe storms today. Oh, nice. Ha. All right. They diminish the Storm Prediction Center has diminished our region in the tornado threat, which is great. This is brand new. All right. So we have some new updates at least. Storm Prediction Center has dropped us. I think it's those garbage cells out ahead of it, that ahead of the main line, that kind of knocked the energy out of the atmosphere, which is great. Day one. Yeah, that's good news. So the tornado threat is definitely higher south of us. Awesome. Good news, folks. Good news, folks. That is wonderful news. So damaging wind is still the primary threat, and we'll keep an eye on these as they get into York County. I wonder if we should take a break here. I got to go connect with Ryan at some point. It's 4:00. He's finished with his radio. I see him on the other computer out there. But maybe I can check some of your reports. If you have a report, send them to me. I've had a lot of great reports. Colleen says it looks nasty in Leamington. I bet it does. It's tough to find everything on here. There's Leamington right there. Yeah, I bet it's nasty. Michelle says thunder and lightning 1 mile. All right, from Sebago Lake. Yeah, good time to get off the lake. That doesn't look good. Actually, we have our Raymond Skycam set up. Let's see what we have here. Let's look at the Raymond Skycam. Huh. Oh, it's about ready to get nasty there in Raymond. 78 degrees. I wanted to get the time lapse of the Raymond Skycam. I think Ryan's probably setting it up. Looks like Ryan's doing that right now. Yeah, there we go. All right, we'll get that going later. But thanks for the report, Michelle. We do need 4 days of straight rain. All right, let's run through this one more time, then I'll hop off the air, and I think we'll probably switch. Ryan's going to hop on here at some point. Maybe I'll hop on here again, but I'm going to grab some water, and we'll keep an eye on things. The good news is the Storm Prediction Center has dropped the tornado threat significantly in our region. There we go. All right, so the two warnings that we have in effect that we're watching is this one right here, moving right over Sebago Lake. You see this one right there? This one is in effect until 4:45, so we have another 40 minutes on this one. The Weather Service has issued, it's a brand new one then. Okay, so they did up the tornado possible on this cell. And it's probably this little appendage right there. So they're keeping an eye on that. All right, let's do that then. Let's keep an eye on that. That doesn't look too impressive right now, but yeah. Hey, Sebago Lake is Tornado Alley, so we all know that from 2017. So we should probably keep an eye on it for that reason alone. But all right, so maybe 4 days of rain. Sorry, I didn't take yours off, Wanda. My bad. All right, I think I should take a break here for a minute. I'm going to grab some water, folks. And we're going to end this live stream. And if you want to check back in, I don't know, maybe 15 minutes or so, I think maybe Ryan and I will do a quick switcheroo. And as I scan some of your reports real quick, if you're just joining us, let's go through the timing again. Here we are, 4 o'clock. Let's go through this right here. That's the front. 4:30, 5 o'clock. That seems too quick. I don't like that model. Hang tight. Let's look at this one. This one's probably a little bit better. So this is 5:30. So about an hour and a half from now, it's getting into the Portland area and weakening, and looks like it moves out around like 7 o'clock. So good news there. All right. All right, folks. Let's leave it at that right now. Here, let's take a look at the radar. Actually, let's do the radar one more time, and then we'll hop off here for a few minutes. And Ryan or I will hop back on. Let's go to grab some water. So no new warnings right now. These are the two warnings we're keeping an eye on. The one moving through Cumberland County and into Androscoggin County. 2 severe thunderstorm warnings issued for damaging wind and the potential for hail. And this one on the south side, this one right here, has been issued for damaging wind, hail, and the tornado tag has been placed on it, meaning that this one may start maybe rotating, and we'll keep an eye on it as it approaches Sebago Lake. All right, folks, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back in 15 minutes. You can check back then. All right, take care. Thanks for joining us.